Good day, friends. This is Demola Awoyele. Welcome you to another episode of Leaders Arise, a platform where we get to exchange ideas on leadership and how we get to learn more about life and about how to be more productive in whatever it is that we'll do. In case this is your first time of joining Leaders Arise online, I want to encourage you to avail yourself of the opportunity to go over our previous episodes. You will see all of them on Facebook and on MixLR platform. And of course, if you are streaming on YouTube, watch our previous episodes on that platform also. Once again, welcome to Leaders Arise. I'm Demola Awoyele. Today, I want to answer a question. And that's the question I've always been asked. Anytime I hold a conference on leadership, I can't remember if there is ever any edition of our Leaders Arise conferences or whatever conference I facilitate on leadership that somebody somewhere will not get to ask this question. So this question is what I'll be answering in today's episode, and I've titled the episode this. Listen. How to lead when you are not in charge. And that's the title of today's broadcast. So sit tight, get yourself a cup of coffee, get your friends and people around you to get to learn together with you. It's going to be an exciting ride today. Once again, welcome to Leaders Arise. So today our topic, like I said, is how to lead when you are not in charge. Like I said, people keep asking me every now and then, Pastor Demola, what do I do when I'm under a boss that is this or that? I have an idea, I don't know, I can't implement it. My boss is not just helping matters. Some will say, okay, I belong to a local church. The pastor is not doing what they feel he should do. Things are changing. The church is not growing. The pastor is not listening to people and all of that. Sometimes some people feel incapacitated, so they ask that question in case I can help them and encourage them to still do something. While some, in their passion and quest to do something, they just want to find out how they can go about it. They don't want to be wrong. And of course, why some are simply burning with ignorance. Alright, they want somebody to help them clarify if they are right in their pursuit. Alright, so but you have the privilege today to learn straight up. Alright, this is not just about answering their question, it's about doing a discourse or having a discourse on that critical subject in leadership. How to lead when you are not in charge. Now let me begin by saying today that you don't always have to be in charge. Yeah. You don't always have to be in charge. Can I say that again? You don't always have to be in charge. What does that mean? You don't always have to be the head, to be a leader. You don't have to always be the positional head. You don't have to be the pastor of your church to lead change for God in that church. You don't always have to be the departmental head to make a difference in your company. You don't have to be the president of your country to effect a change in your country. You don't always have to be the dad at home or the mom at home to provide leadership for the family, to influence the family onto greater heights. Alright, you don't always have to be the team lead for you to cause significant change in the team that you are being placed in. So I think it's good I begin from there, that you don't always have to be in charge for you to lead. Now, because some people, the moment they are not the head, they just feel they can do nothing. Now, don't get me wrong, there is power in headship. There is power in being the one who has the position, who has the man, who has the title. We'll be discussing that in some episodes to come. John Maxwell did explain to us in his book. He was talking about the 5 levels of leadership. Leadership by position, leadership by permission, leadership by production, leadership by reproduction, and leadership by personhood. That's for another day. But you may want to refresh your mind or your understanding with those things I've just mentioned. 5 levels of leadership, according to Dr. John C. Maxwell. He said, number 1, there is leadership by position, and of course, it's in that order. There is leadership by permission, there is leadership by production, there is leadership by reproduction, and of course, there is leadership by personhood. But that's not my discussion today. Maybe one of these episodes, I will take time to focus on those 5 levels of leadership. But it suffices to say very quickly, as it relates to my discussion today, that the lowest level of leadership, according to that ladder of leadership as explained by John Maxwell, the lowest form of leadership is leadership by position. What does that mean? You are not a leader because you have position. Position at best is meant to enhance your leadership. So position without leadership will become meaningless. Whereas, if you have leadership inside of you, with or without position, you are going to cause significant change wherever you find yourself. Like I've always told you, I'm a person of balance, so I won't throw position into the garbage bin. Yeah, I won't say, oh, it's not about position. Sometimes it's about position. Let me just say that frankly. But my emphasis is this: don't focus on the position, focus on the leadership. Because position will only enhance the leadership you already have. In fact, position can expose your lack of leadership. Think about it. I said position is meant to enhance your leadership or the leadership you already have. And I said, quite sadly, position can also expose your lack of leadership. So before you run after position, develop leadership. Because if you don't have leadership in you, position will expose you. Like we have in our dear country today and some other parts of the world, that we voted some people into leadership position, and quite unfortunately, we can't see them perform. The position is exposing their lack of leadership rather than enhancing their leadership. So a great man is not somebody that is following after position, but somebody that is developing leadership, because he understands that once I develop leadership, position is just an added advantage. Is somebody following me today? So why did I go through all this? It's to tell you that don't feel bad that you are not in position. In fact, don't go and sleep and say, if I'm not the pastor of the church, then I can do nothing. Don't go and sleep and say, since I'm not the mom, I'm not the dad, I can watch this family go down the drain. I can watch this family suffer. Or I don't think like that. Don't say, since I'm not the MD, I'm not the departmental head, whatever happens in this company does not concern me. My job today is to teach you how you can lead even when you are not in charge. How you can influence positive change or cause positive change even when you are not a positional leader. That is my introduction. Are you set to learn with me today? So let me give you those principles of leading when you are not in charge. Let me give you those principles. There can be many of them, but I will just give about 4 of them because of time. Just 4. And listen to me, you can transpose these principles to every sphere of life. In the family, it is applicable. In the workplace, it is applicable. In the local church, it is applicable. Even in a nation, a country, is applicable. In a team, It's applicable among friends. It is applicable. It is actually applicable everywhere. But don't forget what I said earlier, that you don't always have to have a position. You don't always have to be in charge to be a leader. So don't surrender your leadership because you are not in position. Don't go and sleep and think you can do nothing. Alright, because you are not a man at the helm of affair. And don't join the bandwagon of those who are castigating the man at the helm of affair simply because they don't have the chance to be at the top or at the helm of affairs. So I'll give you about 4 of them. Like I said, they can be much more than that. Number 1, relationship. That's the first principle. Because positional leaders, most of the time, they leverage their position to drive their leadership. But non-positional leaders have little or nothing to leverage apart from their relationship. Now, people are going to follow you now, not because you are the one in charge, but because you are able to relate well with them. And this will now take us to the principal definition or principal foundation of leadership, which is relationship. You are going to best lead to the extent that you can best relate. Because leadership is a people business, and once we talk about people, you talk about relationship. And also, if you know how to win with people, John Maxwell wrote that man is blessed. All right. I just remember now that he also wrote a book on this topic, how to lead when you are not in charge. But my discussion is not from his book. Obviously, I've read the book, How to Lead When You Are Not in Charge. He has written a book on winning with people and all of that. You can see how blessed I am. I've read quite a number of his books. All right. So the first thing you've got to understand about leading when you are not in charge is to be a person of relationship. Now, very quickly, learning about relationship will affect your leadership in all areas. All right, because the man at the helm of affair most of the time requires position as a leverage to lead people. So they obey him because he's the pastor. They obey him because he's the MD. They obey him because he's the president of the association or the country. They obey him because he's the dad or the mom at home. But you don't have all of that. But people will obey you because they can get along with you. Because until people can get along with you, they cannot go along with you. And you will need this. I think the title of John Maxwell's book was The 360-Degree Leader. How to lead when you are not in charge or something like that. I can't remember. I know I've read something around that. Alright, so John Maxwell taught us in 360-Degree Leader, alright, that a leader must learn how to lead in all spheres. That means you lead vertically downward, you lead horizontally, you lead vertically upward. That's a 360-degree leader. That means that you must learn to lead those below you, learn to lead those at your level, and learn to lead those ahead of you. And I think where people have the most problem, alright, is how to lead people ahead of them. And can I explain to you today that as much as you need relationship to lead people below you, to lead people at your level, you also need relationship to lead people at above you or people above you. Can I challenge somebody today? Or can I tell somebody today, you don't need rebellion to lead somebody ahead of you. You need relationship. Most of the time, when people cannot lead somebody ahead of them, they began to rebel against them. They began to say no to their authority, say no to their directive. They began to consider themselves better than the leader. So why should I listen to him? Like I told us in past episode, that you are not better than another. Leadership is not about who is better. Leadership is about difference. That is, the one at the top does not mean he's better than you. It only means that he's different from you. He has been given a role or responsibility that is quite different from yours. However, you have to leverage the power of relationship, not rebellion. You don't get a superior to listen to you by rebellion. You get a superior to listen to you by relationship. Yeah. You don't tell somebody ahead of you or above you and say, I will not agree with you. Your own is too much. Are you the only one that knows? And all that. Every leader has ego. So you can't talk to a head like that or somebody ahead of you like that and you want him to submit or want him to allow you. You can't talk to your boss that way, your positional leader, your pastor, or whoever it is. For example, in a civil society like ours, you don't get your president to listen to you by protest or by rebellion. I know that's why in a labor force or in a society like this, they normally encourage engagement, discussion, meetings. But it's quite unfortunate that a lot of times people will not get to listen to the positional leader, or positional leader will not get to listen to people, all right, if they do not protest. So it's after they have protested, they now begin to call for, let's have a dialogue, let's have a this or that. But protest is not necessary in the first place. Dialogue, relationship. Let's get to hear ourselves out. Let me get to hear you, please get to hear me. So how do you lead when you are not in charge? As a member of a local church, as a worker in a local church, as an associate to a pastor in a local church, how can you influence your pastor? As a wife at home, how can you influence your husband? How can you get him to do what you want him to do without rebelling against his leadership? Because people don't understand the power and the place of relationship, so they resort to rebellion. Rebellion can't take anyone anywhere. So how do you get your pastor to listen to you? How do you get your MD to listen to you? How do you get your labor leader to listen to you? How do you get your husband to listen to you? How do you get your team lead to listen to you? You need relationship, not rebellion. You need to get along. You need to relate with him or with her. You need to develop relationship. Because people are disposed to listening to someone that is in relationship with them. Like we have heard over time that people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. So you don't get to the boardroom and start saying a lot of stuff, proving to your board director, proving to whoever that you know. As wonderful as that is, you can't gain leadership by the display of knowledge. You gain leadership by relationship. So how do you get to lead when you are not in charge? Develop relationship with your superior. And let it be a healthy one. Let it be a respectful one. Let it be a relationship that shows the person that you have his best interest at heart. You know, relationship thrives best. Alright, when we are not holding on to our interests. When we put the interest of that person's first. So relationship will help you. So can I ask you today, is there anyone in your life or around your life that you are having problem at or problem with as far as leadership is concerned? Your pastor, can you be more friendly with him? Your husband, stop nagging. Stop complaining. Get along with him. I've discovered that nobody is hard. In fact, in our local church here in Akure City, Destiny Impact Church, I preached a message some times ago. You can get to the church website and get it. Dealing with difficult people. Please go to our website. You will see it scrolling on the screen. DestinyImpactChurch.org/store. You will see a message titled Dealing with Difficult People. And I emphasize in that message that nobody is intrinsically difficult. It's only that you have not learned how to relate with them. I'm telling you from what I know. I'm telling you from years of experience in relating with people. You'll be amazed that the person you think is difficult, another person get to the same person, and how do you get to relate with him? How do you get to relate with him? That was my testimony in my secular work before I resigned and got to full-time ministry. People wonder, how did I get to relate with my departmental head? How did I get to do that? Other engineers had a hard time dealing with him, always having issues, quarreling. But when they get to myself and my boss, we are friends. I'm telling you. And they get to ask, Demola, how did you do it? I said, it's a relationship, not rebellion. I'm not proving that I know more than him. I'm not trying to outsmart him. I want to know him. I want to help him. I want to be his friend. Because people are quick to listen to those who are their friends. Nobody listens to competitor. Nobody listens to rivals. But people listen to friends. So as a wife at home, your husband will not listen to you when you posture as a rival. When you posture as a competitor. Alright, because everybody has ego. As a church member, your pastor will not listen to you when you are proving that you know more than him. As an employee in a company, your boss will not listen to you when you keep proving that you are better than him. But when you come to his level, when you get to relate with him, when you want to be his friend, alright, then his heart gets softened. And whatever it is you want to pass across to him as a leadership lesson, as an idea that you think will drive the ministry forward, the home forward, the business forward, is best passed across on the channel of relationship. That you sit over a cup of coffee, all right, you are in the field or in the court playing golf, all right, that you go visiting him at home, all right, that you are just in a relaxed mood and you are chipping. I will never forget this scenario that played out when I was on campus. Because of my leadership temperament, I can be a little hard because I'm choleric by one of my strongest temperament is choleric. Alright, so I don't easily give in to people who argue with me. Choleric are egocentric. Thank God for the Holy Spirit anyway that is helping us. Alright, but I used to have a vice president when I was leading a campus fellowship in those days on campus. This brother will not argue with me. Yeah. Don't be a follower that get to a leadership meeting and you are the first to raise your hand and argue with your boss and counter everything he says. You can't win with him. You can't lead him that way. He will not argue. He will allow me to get to a relaxed mood. You say, Pastor, I'm just thinking that, After we have talked about that things, sincerely, that brother influenced me greatly. I will never forget. I hope my leadership effectiveness partly to him. He is a very good definition of how to live without being in charge. In fact, this brother will correct me without me knowing. And that's how to correct you. You correct by relationship, not by rebellion. You don't rise up and say, Pastor, you are wrong. Or God, you are wrong. Excuse me, dear, you are wrong. They won't listen to you. My vice president in those days, we wait. I love it. We are still very much in touch today. He will correct me. In fact, he will have corrected me and he will have left. I will not say, look at this brother. He has just corrected me. But I wouldn't have known. He will just do it in a very friendly way. Because he has developed relationship. Out of that relationship now came out his influence over my life. You can't influence people that you don't have relationship with. Did you get what I just said? Number two, because of time, because I think my time is really, really fast. Number two is loyalty. All of them are intertwined anyway. Number two is what? Loyalty. How do you lead when you are not in charge? Be loyal to the person that is in charge. Did you get that? Be what? Loyal to the person that is in charge. I know what people mostly do most of the time is to now become disloyal because the person at the top, all right, is not leading them well. Why should I keep following him when he's not doing what I want him to do? Why should I keep attending the church when the pastor is doing his own? Now, listen to me. I am not asking you to be following somebody into error. But somebody's idea may not be the best of idea, but prove to him that you are for him and not against him. Because when you posture before a senior leader as though you are against him, he will not be able to listen to you. Show loyalty. Get on board this vision, even when it appears as if the vision is not the best. Even when it appears as if you have a superior idea, follow him. Be loyal. Join him to do whatever he's doing. Don't castigate him. Don't show to other people that you have a better idea. You have a superior argument. In fact, if I were you, I will be a promoter of his vision. Yeah. You know, you can promote a vision that you feel that you have something better than. But listen to me, if your own vision or your idea will come to fall, promote the vision or the idea of the person that is ahead, that is in leadership. Don't backstab him. Don't be disloyal. Don't form a gang of people that now gang up together and start discussing him and start, and start talking against the leader. Show loyalty. Get involved. Tell him you are for him and not against him. Because when any leader sees that you are for him and not against him, they will be soft-hearted towards you. They want to hear you out. They want to hear you out. But when they are not sure you are for them, they want to put up what we call a defense mechanism. Some of you will have related with some leaders before. That when you say, hey, they quickly counter you because they are not sure you are for them. You are trying to pass an idea and they are telling you why your idea will not work. Not because your idea will not work, but because they are looking at you as a disloyal person. They are not sure you are for them. But when you have proven your loyalty, when you have proven that you are for them, they are relaxed. They are soft-hearted. They will be able to hear you out. That's how they can buy into your argument or your idea. Did you learn something thus far? Let me give you 2 more, then I'll round up in the next 5 minutes. The number 3 things to do to get ahead or to lead when you are not in charge is to support. Like I said, they are all intertwined. Loyalty actually begins from the heart, but support is action-based. Support. Don't be a follower that is waiting for your time to come. Some people are like that. So let him shall do his own and get out of there so that I can take over. You will never take over in Jesus' name. Is that not what is happening in politics today? It's only, I know it happens in some other places too. Nigeria, it happens a lot that a deputy get out of the cabinet, the camps, go and contest against his governor and all of that, or president that is against maybe. That's not how to gain leadership. You don't gain leadership by taking off the person that is there. You gain leadership by supporting him to succeed, and in so doing, you are paving the way for your own emergence. Support. That was what I saw in the life of David. David was loyal. David was supportive. Even though David knew that he was supposed to step into leadership after Saul, he was not waiting for Saul to die. He never wanted Saul to die. He wanted Saul to do his best. He wanted to support Saul because he knew that any support he gave Saul will be a seed for his own success in leadership. And the same thing for you also. Any support you give your superior leader is a seed for your own leadership success. So support. Yeah, support. Support the vision of the leader. Support the vision of the leader. Give your best. Don't be waiting for the tenure of the leader to go, and don't plan a coup. I know it happens in military. I know it happens in some other sphere of leadership. It can also happen in church. It can happen in a company, that you are working for the downfall of your boss so that you can take over. That is not how to take over leadership. No. The fastest way to gain leadership is to help the person that is currently in the leadership position to succeed. Because what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. When you help another person to succeed, you are paving way for your own success. And the last but not the least, contribute your quota in your own sphere. What do I mean? You may not be the pastor, but you are the head usher. The way to influence the entire church is to influence the ushering department. Did you see that now? You might be a church member, not a pastor. So how do I influence the church? Be a good church member. Hold on to your own leadership platform or your own platform of expression and give your best. Don't underperform because of lack of performance of your head. Give your best in your own sphere. Do your best. Generate results in your own sphere. Give your best. Don't play truant. Don't say, why will I give my best when the guy at the top or the head is not even trying? Leave him. Like I said, do other things. I've explained those first 3 points, but much more than leaving much more than that, don't leave your own work undone because of the irresponsibility or underperformance of your head. You can be in a church where the pastor is not doing too well. You give your best as a chorister, as a choir leader, as an associate, whoever it is. You can be in a family where your dad is a drunkard, your dad is not as responsible as you have expected. Don't because of that be irresponsible. Give your best in your own area of engagement. And the last but not the least, help your leader. In this way, help him to become a better leader. Pray for him. Expose him to materials. People behave the way they behave because of what they know. If your leader knows better, he will do better. So before you castigate him and conclude that he's a good for nothing, or he's not helping matter, introduce him. Pray for him. Introduce him to materials. Ask him to get on board this Leaders Arise conversation so I can learn. We do this every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Introduce some of my materials to him and other materials of great leaders. Introduce him to conferences. Help him to be a better leader. Because the reason why you are there, particularly discovering his errors, is not so that you can broadcast it, but so that God can use you to help him get better. And when you help him to get better, you are sure going to be leading without being in charge. People will be wondering why your head is doing well. They would not have known that it was you, or it is you that is helping him to get better. And when he gets better, you are also leading without being in charge. So I encourage you to take this discussion to every sphere of endeavor that you might have found yourself. In your academics, your work, your business, your career, your church, your family life, your teamwork, and indeed every area of your life. I encourage you to go over this broadcast again and again, because some of the things I've shared today we probably have not sunk well or sank well. You may want to go over it again so that you can get to learn much better. In case you have questions, you have comments, you have contributions, you have things you want me to clarify, don't hesitate to engage me on my social media handles. My Facebook, YouTube, send me a DM, send me a WhatsApp message, and all of that. And don't forget to take advantage of the myriad of resources that you have being scrolled on your screen. Go to destinimpactchurch.org/store. You will see my materials that can help you to be a better leader and of course a better person wherever you find yourself. Till I meet with you again on another episode of Leaders Arise. Keep leading, keep growing, and keep becoming your best. God bless you. Bye for now.